Welcome back to RamZland. Today I want to show you the amazing golden rain demonstration through the recrystallization of lead iodide. Check this out. For this experiment, we're going to use lead nitrate, potassium iodide, a couple 250 milliliter Erlenmeyer flasks, each having 150 milliliters of distilled water, and a hot plate. The first step is to measure out 700 milligrams of potassium iodide. Next, measure out 600 milligrams of lead nitrate. Now you're ready to add your potassium iodide to one of your Erlenmeyer flasks of 150 milliliters of distilled water. And you want to stir your potassium iodide until all the crystals have dissolved and your solution is aqueous. Do the same for the lead nitrate in your second Erlenmeyer flask of 150 milliliters of distilled water. And you're going to stir in your lead nitrate until it's completely dissolved. Okay, once both solutions are aqueous, you're ready to see the precipitation of lead iodide. So I'm going to add lead nitrate to my potassium iodide, and you'll see a bright yellow precipitate of lead iodide. So here we go. Look at that. So you don't want to add too much because you want to heat this up until that precipitate is completely dissolved, and then let it cool so that you can see the recrystallization of lead iodide. So this is enough. So we're going to put it on our hot plate and we're going to warm it up until all of that precipitate dissolves. And in order to do that, we really need to add a little bit more water. So this is 150 milliliters at this point. I'm going to add another 50 milliliters of distilled water to it. And that's going to make it much easier to dissolve that precipitate. Okay, so it's on our hot plate and we're going to heat it until all of the precipitate dissolves. And at this point you can see that the solution is becoming a little bit more clear. Keep heating it until all of that precipitate is dissolved. Okay, after about an hour, that precipitation of lead iodide, it will cool and recrystallize. You gotta wait a while, but it's worth the wait. Check this out. I'm just gonna stir it a little bit, and you'll see all of those lead iodide crystals swirl. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Here's the balanced equation for this awesome double displacement reaction. We start with the reactants lead nitrate and potassium iodide. We have 1 mole of lead nitrate, that's the Pbno3 and we have 2 moles of potassium iodide, that's the 2Ki. When both of those are dissolved in an aqueous solution and they're combined, we get the products lead iodide and potassium nitrate. We have 1 mole of lead iodide, that's the Pbi2, that's the precipitate that falls out of the solution, that's yellow, and we have 2 moles of potassium nitrate, that's the 2KNO3, in this amazing double displacement precipitation reaction. I hope you enjoyed today's edition of RamZland, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this presentation, be sure to remember to like and subscribe.